Well, it's a Sunday evening, 8 o'clock Central African time. Good evening, South Africa, and welcome to another edition of Service Delivery Gauge. And just a reminder, this show is specifically designed for you to gauge the quality of service delivery in your area. And I'm your host, Sakina Kamwendo. Trifosa Nselengwe is our sign language interpreter tonight. Now, just a reminder, this is also an interactive show where we invite you, our viewer, to send us your videos throughout the show on how you view and how you rate your municipality in your area. And remember, this can be any municipality anywhere in the country. Wherever you are, give us your name, which municipality you're rating, and you can rate them red, amber or green. And our WhatsApp number is 083-272-8341. And you can also give us a shout, give us a call later on in the show on 011-714-8052. And I will prompt you as to when we start taking calls. So today on Service Delivery Gauge, we head to Makana, formerly known as Grahamstown. Now, this is the biggest town that falls under the Makana local municipality. And we want to know how you would gauge the level of service delivery in this local municipality if you are from there. Please send us your tweets. SABC News is our handle, or you can also go to our Facebook page. It's called Service Delivery Gauge, GAUGE. Now, last year, the Grahamstown High Court ordered the Makana local municipality, the council in that municipality, to be dissolved, and this is due to its failure to deliver services after an application was brought against the council. Now, the provincial government then took the decision on appeal. Our reporter Lerato Fekisi and camera operator Marcus Brenner took to the streets of Makana and captured a first-hand glimpse of the issues.
Welcome to Makana, also known as a city of saints, and a town that we have covered over the past few years for the much-loved National Arts Festival and the Science Festival, just to name a few. Many think of Makana, formerly known as Grahamstown, as a tidy, scenic city. Home to the prestigious Rhodes University, some of the country's top private schools, and the National Arts Festival. But drive into the busy city centre, and it becomes clear why many people here are fed up. Both to my left and my right was clearly visible. It's just dumped waste, whether it's in the river or in water streams, but there's just waste completely as you enter the eastern side of Makana, which is where most of the township areas are. We're driving through now the main road in Joza Township. You can see for yourself the visible potholes on the road that you're driving on, and I think even the way we're driving, the unsteadiness of the car shows you just how bad the specific road is. We then enter N Street, and the ongoing water supply issue comes to the fore. This communal tap services more than 300 people. It doesn't even work properly.
Ayike amanzi ke wona uthi wasela apha emlonyeni ayi storage, and ke abantu abaninzi balapha baphangeli funeke beselela amanzi siwalinde ba mawasake ezantsi kwenzela basikwazi usela anuka ituwa apha emlonyeni ngoba uwasela nje, and ubuya kwamanzi kugqabhuka kwe-storage zalapha. Into eyenzekayo ke axebuyile amanzi ne-storage abusazi gqabhukile, ayikho nje into ebhetere.
Indaba yamanzi sisi, amanzi amdaka 4 days singenamanzi, inobabuya namhlanje amanzi okokoko. Basifuna amanzi funeka siqeshe izinto, siqeshe imoto, abangenazo ke intsiba zoqesha imoto baqeshe okari bodongi bayowakha ngapha emthonjeni 2 kilometers uphuma apha elokishini.
As we are about to move to another township, the cries of another resident stops us in our tracks. Zenzile Kwezi is upset because he still uses the bucket system for sanitation. The city's sewage infrastructure is also struggling to cope with a growing population. Someone who knows this all too well is Danile Malinga. Sewage is spilling on his doorstep.
Ndiziva kakuhle ngomasipala walapha ngoba kukho nto andenzela yona. Yeva ke khona ndenzela wona nani nabona bakunjani nabo apho ndihlala khona nathi two-way gqithi ingena endlini yonke into na-toilet na-tap so andiziva kakuhle ngolo hlobo.
The court ruled in favor of the complainants, the Isiagwini Street Committee, and the school governing body of Mary Waters High School, represented by the Legal Resource Centre. On the western side of Makanda, people are doing what they can to save or store water. The drought and broken water infrastructure makes the provision of water difficult. Residents have taken matters into their own hands.
Well, let's start by supply. 35 years ago, when I came to Grahamstown, I installed two 5,000 litre water tanks for groundwater harvesting, and I've increased it over the years. So I have a supply of water for the garden, for drinking water, and also for washing up, because I have a pump that can pump the water into the house. So the supply is then from rainwater, and then added municipal water when needed. Then secondly, management of that, starting outside in the garden, where I have a specific system of watering my plants by using old plastic bottles.
Well, a glimpse there into the everyday lives of people on the ground in Makanda, in the Makana local municipality. So today I'm joined by SABC specialist researcher Masweli Ralibona, and he's going to give us a more in-depth look at the Makana local municipality. Good evening, Masweli.
Thank you, Sagina. Let's look into the map. This municipality is in the Eastern Cape under the Sarah Baartman District Municipality, currently housed at the in Grahamstown, now known as Makanda, the town of Makanda. The municipality is called Makana Local Municipality. Sagina, as I've said, the municipality falls under the Sarah Baartman District Municipality. The population in this municipality is sitting at 82,060 people, with an annual increase of 0.65%. 78% of the people in this municipality speaks isiXhosa. The political landscape in this municipality, Sakina, the ANC is currently sitting at 61.84%, which translates to 17 seats. The DA at 29.78% with 8 seats. The EFF at 5.32% and 2 seats. Sakina, up for grabs in these coming 2021 local government elections, there are 28 wards up for grabs, of which 14 of them are wards and 14 of them are PR seats, which means for a political party to get a majority, they need at least 15 seats. The voters' roll is currently sitting at 43.643 registered voters. In terms of basic services in this municipality, Sakina, it's very bad. 94.9% of the people in this municipality are said to be receiving water either from regional or local service providers. But as you've heard from the video clips that we've played, people are complaining about the quality of water, quality of roads, and it is said that if you are lucky, you will receive water twice a week. 98% of the people have electricity in this municipality. Unemployment figures, Sakina, like we have in the country currently, everyone is talking about lack of jobs. 65.5% of the people in this municipality are without jobs, against the 34.4% nationally.
And in terms of audit outcomes, how does the Auditor General rate this municipality?
Sakina, in the past 5 years, this municipality, since 2015, this municipality has received 3 consecutive qualified audits, and lately, in the past 2 financial years, they are sitting on 2 consecutive disclaimers. Sakina, the municipal budget revenue budget is sitting at over 600 million, followed by the operating expenditure of at least over 500 million rands. Sakina, that's all from us today.
Well, thank you so much, Maswili. And that gives us a look at this particular municipality and what goes on there in terms of just the breakdown into some of the numbers there. And when we come back from the ad break, we'll talk to some of the officials in the Makana local municipality who will tell us more about the municipality and what's been going on there. Please stay with us.
The situation in
The Makana municipality's financial position is dire. The municipality is owed about 476 million rand. This is made up of household debt, liquidated businesses, deceased accounts and prescribed debts. The municipality, on the other hand, owes Eskom 51 million rand, the Department of Water and Sanitation 38.8 million rand, and the Amatola Water about 36 million rand. In total, the municipality is indebted to its creditors to the tune of 141 million rand. The mayor of Makana Municipality, Mzukisi Mpahlwa, says the fortunes of the local administration is changing for the better.
If you look at where we're coming from in 2016, really where things were really terrible, challenges were very challenging. If you look at it now, surely there's an improvement. Surely you can see that we are on an upward trajectory as an ANC government here, and the people can actually see it. They can see that, I mean, if you look at the water, for example, water was brown and all of that in 2016, but the water is now clean and so on. The quality has improved greatly, and the roads are there being upgraded as we speak now. Bulk infrastructure, sewer. So my personal view is that we are on an upward trajectory as an ANC government here. I'm quite confident that as we reduce our debt and we begin to collect enough money, and as we begin to have money, we are going to improve even further the service delivery. So if I were to rate our improvement from 2016 to now, I would give ourselves 8 out of 10, easily.
Well, we really appreciate you tuning into Service Delivery Gauge, and joining us now on our virtual platforms are Mr. Mzukisi Mpahlwa, who is the mayor of the Makana local municipality. Kevin Milligham is the DA's constituency leader in the Makana local municipality. Siamtanda Janki, EFF councillor in the municipality, and Ayanda Kota is from the Unemployed People's Movement. Lady and gentlemen, thanks so much to all of you for joining us this evening. Mr. Mayor, let me start with you. You say you're on an upward trajectory. Looking at the Auditor General's reports, 3 consecutive qualified audits and 2 disclaimers currently for your municipality. Explain to us how that's an upward trajectory, please.
Thank you very much, Sakina. We are saying that we are on an upward movement as the municipality. Because if you can go back a little bit, there was a time when the municipality was experiencing serious challenges when it comes to financial matters, for example, where we're not able to pay our creditors, and some of them had to come to the institution and apply for repossession of some of our assets. That was a very serious time because we had a long list of creditors. But if you look at our situation now, we have improved a great deal in terms of paying off all our long-term credits. We are now able to, for example, we reduced our debt significantly in terms of the financial statements, where we were sitting at 64 million rands in 2017 to a mere 5 million rands deficit in 2019. And we're projecting a surplus of 38 million rands in the 2020-21 financial year. That means that we are not able to, we'll now be able to pay off all our debtors, creditors, and be able to have reserves in the next financial year. That, for me, is a solid basis for improving our financial management systems.
So just to be clear, Mr. Mpatlo, are you expecting us to take your word for it? Because you currently have a disclaimed audit opinion from the Auditor General, which simply means you provided insufficient evidence for an audit opinion to be based on for the Auditor General's purposes. So where's the documentation so that the Auditor General could tell us what you are telling us now?
Yes, that is why we admit, Sakina, upfront that as far as the audit outcomes are concerned, we're coming a long way to be where we want to be because we had serious challenges in the past where we'd have a number of municipal managers over a period of time, lack of CFOs and senior managers and all of that, to the extent that our money that was coming from national government, treasury, for example, was at the district because we just could not afford to have a permanent CFO, a permanent municipal manager, and so forth. So now that during that period, a lot of challenges was experienced by the municipality. We are saying we are going a little bit better now because we have got in place the full complement of senior managers in our municipalities, and hence the National Treasury has now been able to give us the money that they could not give us before, because all of the money used to go to the payment of other things other than the service delivery. So it is in that regard now building together. We are putting together those systems that were not there before. We are putting together the controls that were not there before. And it's going to take some time, but we are on that move of trying to make sure that we put those systems in place.
Since when, Mr. Mpatlo?
Since 2019, we've now been able, for instance, in 2018, we were appointed as a municipal manager. Again, in 2018, we were appointed as a CFO, and the rest of other municipal managers, senior managers were appointed later there. So in all, we've got all of the complement of the senior management staff in place.
Incidentally, those are the 2 financial years over which you have regressed in audit outcomes. But let me go to the DA. Mr. Milligham, how would you rate the services in this particular municipality? And what do you have to say about the work rendered by council, given what we hear from residents on the ground?
Well, first of all, let me just comment. Thank you, Sakina. Let me comment on what the mayor has said. I find his comments completely disingenuous. For starters, this is a municipality that in 2020 recorded 28.7 million rand of fruitless and wasteful expenditure. And that was more than the previous year and more than the year before that. So it's not an upward trajectory, Mr. Mayor. It's a downward trajectory. Similarly, on unauthorized expenditure and again on irregular expenditure. And the AG was unable to express an opinion purely because your books, your financial records were so bad that he was unable to determine whether or not you were accurately keeping track of your finances. So that's a complete misstatement of the facts that you're saying that you're on an upward trajectory, an 8 out of 10. And Sakina, you're 100% correct that the 2 years where the municipality has received a disclaimed audit have been the 2 years that have had a full team, according to the mayor, in place. With regard to service delivery, I agree completely with what the residents are saying in your earlier video clips. You're seeing water that is irregularly supplied. Yes, there is a greater penetration of water availability. However, the days that water is available are limited. So you'll have a day on, day off, day on, day off, and so on and so forth. And that is primarily a function of poor maintenance of the water infrastructure, particularly the water treatment works, the pump stations, and the pipelines that interconnect around Makana. It also goes to the management of water leaks, which is a huge, huge issue for the residents of Makana. Then, if we have a look at roads, the roads in Makana are in a shocking state, an absolutely dreadful state. Of late, we've seen a little bit of improvement where the province has stepped in to deal with some of the provincial roads, but the municipal roads are literally falling apart. And in many cases, you have to drive around the potholes because there's less road than pothole. You've touched on waste management in the video, and this is something that is a huge issue. The landfill sites have been cause of contention for many years. I personally laid criminal charges against the mayor and the municipal manager for their failure to comply with various court orders and with various environmental management acts. There's been nothing done about that. Then if you want to talk about accountability and how the council holds the officials to account, they just don't. So to give you one example, the Kabuso forensic report has not been dealt with. It's 7 years since it was released, and it has basically been brushed under the carpet. And that report identified serious irregularities on the part of a former mayor and a former municipal manager and a former speaker, and required criminal investigation. And the council basically asked that be redacted out of the report. So that needs to be addressed. There needs to be a greater degree of accountability.
So
lastly,
let me ask Mr.
you asked
Millihan,
about,
why hasn't it been addressed? Because that report, the Kabuso report, was clear about people who action needed to be taken against, who needed to be sanctioned. It was also clear about monies that needed to be recovered. Has any of that happened?
No, none of that has happened. None of the actions have been taken. In fact, some of those people have been promoted. They've gotten higher positions within the ANC and within the officialdom of government. None of the criminal charges have been prosecuted. None of the money has been recovered. Now, the last part of your question related to council and how that works. And basically what has happened and what we've seen is that the ANC used their majority to steamroll their way through council, to the extent that they basically rewrite the laws and rules of council on the fly. We had a situation a couple of years ago where the Speaker of Council brought in police to remove 2 DA councillors because they did not agree with her changing the written bylaws and rules of order of council in the meeting. That was completely irregular, completely illegal, and yet that's what happened in council, and that's what the Speaker of Council did. And this is an example of why there has been a complete lack of service delivery. The other thing is that the municipal officials frequently prevent councillors from performing oversight on municipal works, municipal plants and municipal equipment. So you don't get an opportunity to go and see for yourself what's going on because you are prevented, and the MM or the speaker says, no, sorry, you don't have the authority to go and look for yourself.
Okay. Let's go to Siamtanda Tyanki from the EFF. For the people of the Makana local municipality watching this program right now, as someone who sits in council, can you explain to the residents of Makanda and the other towns in the Makana local municipality why it is that council fails to deliver a service as basic as removing refuse, picking up rubbish from the streets? Why is the council failing?
Now, when we talk of Makana Municipality, we need to understand that Makana Municipality is a municipality that has been under the leadership of the ANC. Makana Municipality is made up of a council that is dysfunctional. Now, when we talk of a dysfunctional council, we are talking of a weak administration. That weak administration is the reason why the municipality is unable to render services. The municipality is unable to collect waste refusal, right? We were in a situation where the municipality was unable to purchase those plastic bags for refusal, right? The situation of the municipality has gone from bad to worse because of the infightings of the ANC that have affected the council, that have affected the administration to what it is today. They are also the local government municipalities. They are led by 5 objectives in the Constitution under Section 152. One of those objectives are to provide a democratic and accountability municipality. Makana municipality has failed to account to the residents of Makana about the monies that were injected to render services. For example, during the COVID relief funds, there was about 850,000 that was availed to install taps for water, to install taps in informal settlement, where people of Zolani location, people of Kapamani would be able to access water. Up to this day, there has been no taps installed. There has been no accountability for where the funds are gone to. There was a budget that was availed of about 24 million to build a hall in Ward 7, Shalani, right? The hall we see today could have not costed less than $1 million. So there are monies that are injected to the municipality to improve service delivery, to improve infrastructure, like your sewage. Today, those sewage are not improved. Where was the money used? Was it utilized properly? That is the kind of a municipality that we are facing, and we're unable to hold the officials accountable because of a dysfunctional council that is led by the ANC government.
So if the opposition is unable to hold the ruling or the majority party in council accountable, what is the purpose then of the opposition parties?
It is very difficult. We need to understand that the ANC has 17 seats. The opposition have, the EFF has 2 seats, for example. Now, when you are holding a government who has majority in council, they will find ways to delay accountability. That is why we are calling out on residents of Makana to vote out the government that is unable to account, to vote out a government that does not care to account to the people, but rather to account to themselves. A government that will go and caucus how to stay in power rather than caucus how to service the people that they voted for.
Okay. Ayanda Kota, let me bring you in from the Unemployed People's Movement. And you've been very instrumental in terms of, bringing forward some of the complaints that the various constituencies and residents in this municipality have, but also in taking this municipality to court. Talk to us. What is the state of this municipality and what should be done? Ayanda? Please unmute, Ayanda, if you possibly can hear me. Okay, we seem to have a problem with Ayanda there. But whilst we try and get hold of Ayanda, let me come back to you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mphahlwa. You heard what has been said. You heard the accusations being levelled against your party in particular as the majority party in council. How do you respond to all of this?
Thank you very much, Sakina. I want to begin by saying that some of the statements that were made, for instance, by the DA, are not factual. Sakina, this means...
Hello, Sakina. I'm back.
Okay, Ayanda, just hold on a sec for me. I'll come back to you in a sec. Mr. Mayor, just complete your sentiment.
All right.
No, we were saying, Sakina, that some of the things that are stated by the DA are factually not correct. Let's take the issue, for instance, of the Kabuso report. This municipality, upon receiving that report, went to the police and opened a case wherein the police and the Hawks were dealing with that particular matter. Because, as you know, Sakina, the ANC does not have cells to put people in or does not have investigative capacity. That is why we are saying every time that there is a case of an
How many prosecutions, Mr. Mayor? How many prosecutions?
Mr. Millihan, please, order. I will ask the questions.
Gentlemen, please,
be that as it may, Mr. Mphahlwa, how many charges were laid against how many members of the municipality?
No, we submitted the entire report, Sakina, to the police for their investigation and for criminal investigation.
No,
that is
Mr.
what we've done as a municipality in respect of that.
The report was very clear about what needed to be done. It spoke in certain instances of monies that needed to be recovered from someone like Dr. Naidu, for example. So what did you do in terms of what the council needed to be do with regard to recommendations in the Kabuso report?
Yes, we did take some steps in respect of some of the officials that were cited there. For example, some of the officials had to pay back. I know that one of them had to pay back about 40,000 rand that she received. So there were some steps that were taken in respect to that. But in terms of
no, hold on, Mr. Mphahlwa. You're going too fast. Let's not brush it under the carpet again. So
can I help you, Sakina?
Hold on. The report was very clear Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mpahlwa, that there were monies that needed to be recovered. It actually stated the actual amounts that needed to be recovered from specific individuals. It's been 7 years. Have you recovered said amounts of money?
That is why, Sakina, I'm saying that, for instance, there was one official that we had to recover about 40,000 rands from her as a municipality in terms of paying back that money. And as you said, this is about 7 years ago. So we are in that process of making sure that we are able to recover that money. But
no, you can't take 7 years, Mr. Mpahlwa. Mr. Mpahlwa, it can't take you 7 years to institute the remedial action to actually recover those monies. It was very simple. So let me ask it this way. Did you actually follow the letter of that particular report to try and institute, number one, the recommendations by actually disciplining, sanctioning members of your council? And two, how much of the monies did you actually recover to date?
Sakina, I may not have all the details of that particular case in terms of the amounts. That is why I'm speaking broadly to say I know, for example, that one of the officials had to pay back 40,000 rands. But in terms of the details, I don't have those details since I was not really part of that particular municipality at that particular time. Okay. So I won't have those details, Sakina.
So there are people who want to help you. Let's get Ayanda. He said he wanted to help in this regard. Ayanda, what did you want to say? Ayanda?
Thank you very much, Sakina. Sakina, as activist in a democratic dispensation like ours, we've got a responsibility to speak the truth to power. I was on a radio, SAFM, with the Honorable Mayor of Makana, Mzukisi Mpahlwa. He publicly lied to our country and said a case was open and gave us a case number. We followed up on a case number only to realize the case number that he gave to us was a housebreaking case number. Absolutely nothing was done as far as Kabuso report is concerned. Number two, excuse my language, but the reality of the matter is, Makana Municipality, uphethwe ngamaphara. Let me tell you why. Only last week at Settlers Hospital, there was no electricity, there was no power. Not because of a problem, load shedding of Eskom, simply because of the incompetency and disruption by Makana Municipality. And remember, when that was happening, you've got babies in incubators. You've got people who are relying on life support machine. Only last month, we had to bring the buckets of water to Settlers Hospital because we had patients who were struggling to get water. There was absolutely no water. 2 weeks back, the Makana Municipality lost a case against Legal Resources Center. Abahlali Baser took this municipality for a basic duty of this municipality, refuse collection. To say this municipality has failed its duties, akuqokwa. Siphethe ngamaphara who have failed the residents of this town. For the mayor to say this municipality is on an upward trajectory, he is very economical with the truth. And his amount of dishonesty is very massive. The last point, as you were saying, let me explain to the mayor. If you compare the two, the qualified report and the current report that we have received, it is very severe. Disclaimer is very severe as compared to qualified. There is absolutely no upward trajectory. Maybe the mayor is on his flight, upward trajectory. Abahlali basemakana bayasokola. Abaphangeli, abanamanzi, bahlala ematyotyombeni, bahlala nesiwa emdaka because iphethwe ngamaphara Sakina.
All right. We have to just remind our viewers that, of course, it is an interactive show. 083-272-8341 is where you can send us your video notes. And you can also call us on 011-714-8052. And remember, you need to rate for us your municipality, wherever this may be in the country, and tell us how you rate your local municipality and the service delivery in your area. With that, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we continue with Service Delivery Gauge.
I would rate them yellow. I don't think it is in every aspect so bad that it must be red. But it's definitely not green, because there are certain areas of service delivery that really needs to be addressed.
Ndingamreyitha red. Izizathu zam i-service delivery yasilela kakhulu in terms of clean, dumping sites, amanzi asinawo, and there's a lot of services nje ezingenziwa.
Rooi. Geen service delivery nie. Slaggate in die strate. Geen swart sakke wat opgetel word nie. Vullis wat ook nie in die strate opgetel word nie. Straatligte wat glad nie brand nie. Seker al vir 4, 5, 6 jaar.
Umasipala lapha ndinika u-red ngoba ibhasi yam uyitshintshe 3 times amatayari kugcwele ipothole indawo yonke.
I definitely rated red, and it's terribly bad in terms of the infrastructure, our roads. We've got problems with water, literally no water every other day, if not perhaps for 2 weeks with us going without water. So the service delivery is pathetic, if I may so say.
I would give them red because as for now, the water is also out of the house, and the streets, at least they try with the streets, but as for the water and the lights, they're not trying hard enough.
And we always want to hear from you, so please continue rating your municipality wherever you are in the country for us here on Service Delivery Gauge. Now, also just to take some of your calls at this point, and we did say you can call us on 011-714-8052. So I believe we have Litemba on the line to us. Litemba, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. This is Litemba Pomezango. It angers me to hear the mayor of Grahamstown lying in front of the world. This is not only for South Africa, this is for everyone. Water is a basic need that everyone needs to have access to. And the people of Makana haven't had water. And the people of Makana haven't had water. And the people of Makana.
Well, my apologies, Litemba, and everybody else. Can't quite make out the quality on that line, deteriorating fast. But we also have another caller on the line, Anonymous. Good evening to you, Anonymous.
But we also have another caller on the line, Anonymous. Good evening to you, Anonymous.
All right. Anonymous, if your television set is on, please turn down the volume. We are currently on the line to you, if you can hear me, Anonymous. No, we can't hear Anonymous either. Okay, so you can keep trying us. 011-714-8052 is the number to dial. And for your WhatsApp videos, you can send that to 083-272-8341 and rate your municipality in terms of service delivery. Let me come back to our panel. Mr. Mpatlwa, just you heard there once again from Litemba, who was saying basically you are being economical with the truth. She outright called you a liar for what you have shared with the nation here this evening. How do you respond to a resident?
Thank you very much, Sakina. Sakina, I said in my opening remarks that as a movement of the ANC, we are the first to admit that there are challenges. But I also said that we are dealing with those challenges head on. Sakina, let me just take the issue of the water. Sakina, before you can have water in your tap, you must have a source where the water comes from. And that source mainly is the dam. And one of the dams that is providing water in Makana Municipal, Settlers Dam, is now sitting at 5%. Now, if you don't have water in the dam, in the source, you are not going to have water in the tap. It's as simple as that. But Sakina, also, we are doing a lot of work in terms of refurbishing the water infrastructure in Makana. For example, the James Clay Enhanced Water Treatment Plant, which is the only source of water for the entire city, is actually being upgraded as we speak. That James Clay Enhanced Water Treatment Plant, Sakina, is going to provide us with 20 million liters of water. Currently, we're only getting 10 million liters of water, but we need 18 million liters of water. In other words, we've got a shortfall of 8 million liters of water per day. So we are now upgrading that particular facility so that it can give us 20 million liters of water per day. And that project is going to be completed by December this year.
Okay.
So what do? If you have got one half of the city without any water and the other side of the city with water, you have to share that water. Hence, one day there will be water, another day there will be no water. That is what is happening, Sakina, in respect of the water. But we're also upgrading water not only in Makanda, but also in the surrounding areas, where your Ripik is to Alisdale, your Seven Fountains, your Salem. We have got boreholes in those areas where we don't have these facilities. So I am convinced, Sakina, that is actually a way to address the issue of water. When it comes to the quality of water.
Speaking of the boreholes, Mr. Mpahlwa, how much has the municipality paid for boreholes?
Sakina, you remember that we have got a lot of money that we managed to get from the Department of Water and Sanitation. That money was used, first of all, to investigate the availability of water underground. But also, we also used that money to drill boreholes that we're using there.
How many boreholes?
We have spent so far 8 boreholes in the Makana area alone. At Rose University, some of them in town and other of them in the township, and also in the surrounding areas. If you go to an area such as, for instance, Salem, you can see pictures where we're actually opening those boreholes that we have opened in those areas.
So of those 8 boreholes, Mr. Mpahlwa, of the 8 boreholes, and I'm sorry to rush you because time is a factor, of the 8 boreholes, how many of those were actually drilled by Gift of the Givers?
Gift of the Givers, when they came here, they drilled 3 boreholes, Sakina, one at Vinek, one at Nsika, and another one here in town.
So who was paid?
What happened in that particular instance, Sakina, is that together with Gift of the Givers, we asked them to give us the quantity of the work that they have done and to cost that work. And they gave us, and then we paid them that amount, which was 12 million rand, Sakina.
Who did you pay, Mr. Mpahlwa?
We paid Gift of the Givers, Sakina.
According to Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman,
come again?
Dr. Suleiman says that another company was paid 7 million rand for boreholes that was drilled by Gift of the Givers, and a third company would be paid 1.9 million for the electrical work to connect the boreholes that were drilled at Vinek. Do you dispute that?
Sakina, what we did, we asked the engineers of the Gift of the Givers, together with the engineers of the Department of Water and Sanitation, to come together and to quantify the amount of work that was done by the Gift of the Givers. And they both agreed that that amount of work is equal to 12 million rands, and that's the amount of money that we paid to Gift of the Givers.
Okay, let me come to Kevin Milligham and also to Siamtanda Yankee from the DA and EFF respectively. Since you sit in council, how much was paid to Gift of the Givers, and was anyone else paid for work done and boreholes drilled that Gift of the Givers actually drilled? Let me start with you, Kevin.
Sakina, thank you. I don't want to go into the amounts that were paid because I don't have those details with me, but I can tell you this. Anyone that pays 4 million rand per borehole is smoking their socks. Any good farmer will tell you that the maximum it costs to drill a borehole is in the region of 100 to 200,000 rand most of the time. And if you're drilling and it costs you 4 million rand to drill a borehole, then there's something wrong with your procurement processes. That's the first thing.
But you should also keep your eye on the money, Mr. Millihan. You should be keeping your eye on the details here as the opposition, because if you also don't know the details, you are also derelict in your oversight duty.
Sorry, Sakina, I'm in Parliament. I'm a member of Parliament. Our councillors do have those details and have been pushing them. I don't have them at my fingertips right now as to exactly how much a particular company has or has not received.
But continue.
But can I continue? So if the mayor was praising the fact that boreholes have been drilled in Riebeek East, but what the mayor doesn't tell you is that those boreholes have never been connected to electricity, and so they don't pump water. And the reason they haven't been connected to electricity is because the municipality conveniently forgot to obtain a way leave for Eskom to actually connect the electricity cable to those boreholes. So the town of Riebeek East does not have water on a regular basis because those boreholes are not functional. And it's only because of pressure from the DA going all the way up to national ministers in sports, art and recreation, because it's a heritage site, national ministers in public enterprises, pushing this issue that these boreholes are now finally going to be connected in the very near future. So the mayor must be very, very careful about what he claims here. Then the last thing, the mayor says there's no water in Settlers Dam, and he's right. There is no water in Settlers Dam. It is at 5%. What he doesn't tell you is that the bigger dam, Glen Melville Dam, has ample water. Ample water. Now, the James Kleinhans water treatment works is on the Glen Melville side. And in, I think it was 2012, when most of Grahamstown, and in particular Rhodes University, you will recall there were TV shows of students who were bathing with wet wipes because there was no water. In 2012, it was said back then, you need to upgrade the James Kleinhans treatment works. You need to upgrade the pump facility so you can take more water out of the Glen Melville Dam, where you have a constant supply of water, so that you are able to cover your shortfall if you have a problem on the Settlers Dam side. Okay. And that wasn't done. And it's now 9 years later, and we sit with the same problem.
All right. We have to take a break. Unfortunately, we'll come back. And Siyamthanda, I'll come to you. I'll also give you an opportunity, Ayanda, as we wrap this up. But also, just to note that in 2021, we still have households that are making use of the bucket system. And this in 2021 in the Makana local municipality. We'll continue after the break. Well, time totally against us here on Service Delivery Gauge, but as we come to the close of the show, we'll scroll some of your remarks, your comments on our pages coming through, as you can see. And over that, if we can just get some very quick closing remarks. Siyamthanda Tyanki from the EFF, let's start with you.
Firstly, there were the holes that were monies that were paid for the establishment of boreholes in Makana, in which some of those boreholes, amanzi awaphuma kuzo, are undrinkable, right? So the mayor cannot come here and tell us about 8 boreholes, whereas in ezinye azisebenzi, but they were paid for. Now, this is why the EFF is saying that people of South Africa, people of Makanda, need to vote out the ANC government. We can no longer entertain a municipality that is failing to give service to its residents. We need a corrupt-free government. We need a municipality that will be built on self-reliance. We need a government, a municipality that will deliver reliable services to the people, not a municipality that will be unable to hold officials, to hold anyone that has failed the municipality. On the AG report, it is a proof that under the ANC, there is no longer a proper system that regulates expenditures, no accountability for certain resources. There has been no consequences management on the fruitless and wasteful expenditures which are close to 28 million. That is why, as residents of Makana, as residents of Makhanda, they need to vote out a government that is not representing them.
Got you there, Ms. Janji. Mr. Kota, final words from you. We have a few seconds left.
Thank you very much. I think the problem in Makana is in aba bantu basiphetheyo abameya aba basipamba inkunzi emini ngoodyakalashe abazuswana zibomvu abazungula bephethe ichele kuba kaloku xa benyanisekile le ngxaki yamanzi kwakukhutshwe imali engaphezu kwe-150 million 5 years back to resolve the crisis yamanzi. To this day it has not been resolved. Well, there's a Baker report echaza fraud and corruption, nothing has been done. So ingxaki siphethe ngabarhwaphilizi ozuswana zibomvu abangabakhathelelanga abantu mababheke kumbutho wabo iMakana Citizens Grant ikhala bavotele yona. iGrahamstown iMakhanda cannot survive another 5 years with the ANC rule.
We're out of time, Mr. Kota. Everybody else, thank you so much to all of you for your time this evening. Truly appreciate it. And to our viewers, thanks so much for tuning in. And please don't forget to send us your videos about service delivery in your area. And we can post those on our various platforms so you can go there and have a look. So for me and the rest of the Service Delivery Gauge team, have yourself a wonderful evening. And until next week, take care. Bye.